This is a clip from the Red Cow Arcade podcast.
Obviously, Pogs, they were a craze. They've gone away now. I want to know why Pogs have not made a return. I say this earnestly.
Alf is back in Pog form.
He's back in Pog form. Pogs are just little prints of things you like. They're smaller cards. Cards, as far as I know, collectible cards never went away. And much like cards with Pogs, there's a little game. It's not a very good game, but it's a little game. It's a little something extra you can do with your Pogs. And they're much like cards. There's an element of there's the very expensive ones. There's very cheap ones. You can collect for quantity. You can collect for quality. There's holograms. Like Funko Pops. It's a way to telegraph your interest in various fandoms. I'm just curious to why. Like, I get that like things are more electronic now, but I don't know. Doesn't it feel like there is probably a market for Pogs?
Well, I have a lot to say about Pogs.
Do you?
I do. Pogs were a huge part of my life as a child.
Make a video. Make a 44-minute video about Pogs.
So I'm going to just spill a bunch of memories about Pogs to you. So every year as a child in the 90s, we would go to North Carolina, the Outer Banks, Holden Beach specifically, and we would go vacation there. We'd rent a cottage and we'd go there for 2 weeks at a time. It was that's forever for a child. And we would go during that whole 90s Pog thing. It was like, what, 1994, I want to say.
Yeah, that seems about right.
And so all of my Pog memories kind of centered around that North Carolina trip. And we would get one Hardee's. Hardee's is a Carl's Jr. some places. It's Hardee's in North Carolina. They had a Apollo 13. Remember the Tom Hanks movie, Apollo 13? They had an Apollo 13 Pog holder. So you could store your Pogs in a Apollo 13 replica.
Yep, excellent.
Based on the movie. I got one of those, and it's probably still filled with Pogs at my parents' house right now. And I remember going to a boardwalk in North Carolina and getting a full set of Mortal Kombat Pogs.
See, you talk about Mortal Kombat Pogs. I want some.
And so just picture this Apollo 13 Pog holder
filled with
the Tom Hanks movie filled with Mortal Kombat Pogs. And it gets even better, Frankie. At that same boardwalk, my cousin bought, because the Pog game, you have slammers, right?
Yeah. He
bought a Pog that had O.J. Simpson inside it.
Pre-trial, I assume?
It was during the whole trial period.
Even more depraved.
And it said OJ's in the slammer.
Genius. Class.
So this is the memory I have, is that me at North Carolina with my Apollo 13 Pog holder filled with Mortal Kombat Pogs, and then my cousin is slamming it with OJ and the Slammer.
It's very 90s, though, every bit of that. That's a 90s cake you've baked. I want to know, like,
and it's true.
in a world where like people are still collecting physical NES games, despite the fact that there's way better ways to play all of them for free. I mean, people collect everything. Every artifact from the 80s and 90s, people like have gone up in value. It feels like fucking VHS tapes, I believe, have like a certain kind of market for the rare ones. Where's the Pog aftermarket? How come they remain trash?
Went the same way as Beanie Babies, right? So
are Beanie Babies still trash? I bet they are. But
you can buy like a ton of it. You can buy a trash bag full of them.
The conventional wisdom about collecting is that the things that tend to go up in value are the things that everybody had lots of. Then everybody threw out. Then everybody became nostalgic and wants it back. Doesn't it feel to you like Pogs should occupy that space? I'm really
I
like
think-
selling Pogs here.
I think they're just too easy. I don't know. Maybe they're too easy to make. I think the market was flooded with Pogs. I think that most of those Pogs, like, I don't think those Mortal Kombat Pogs were made by like whoever owned Mortal Kombat at the time. I think
You know
they
what it might
just,
be is that
I
like,
think they just printed them. I don't think they cared.
because I don't have any of my old Pogs. I must have thrown them out at some point. And there's a part of me that goes, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun to be able to look through my old Pogs? Too bad I don't have them anymore." But the reason I don't then jump on eBay and start trying to solve that problem is because I don't remember any of them. That's actually the issue. Is unlike you, I don't you actually do have a memory to recreate. Theoretically, you could get an Apollo 13 and some MK Pogs and shit and some OJ ones, but I don't remember. I do remember we went to like a fancy toy store and you could get 10 Pogs for $10. So they were like premium Pogs.
Yeah.
And then like we went to the Galleria Mall and in some middle of the hallway kiosk, you could buy 100 Pogs for $10. And I was like, interesting. Some are high value, some are low value. So that's where like the gambler's market starts to form. I don't know. Especially like in a world of fidget spinners, I still think that like, I don't know, logic dictates that Pogs will be back someday, some way.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, because I think you can actually buy Pogs right now.
And by the way, I'm not talking about fat ass white girls Pogs. Certainly that. There's plenty of a market for
You broke me.
You have to pronounce it with an extra W. Pogs. We're off the air.
You better clip this one.
I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
It doesn't fucking matter.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.